What's up, everyone? Welcome back here for another episode of Panthers versus the World. First off, got to give a quick shout out to our producer, Joel, for making everything work here behind the scenes. As always, thank you, man. Appreciate it. And then, as well, happy late Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Hope everyone enjoyed their Mother's Day. Besides Boston fans, don't think they were too happy about it. Jeremy, how's your Mother's Day? Capped off with a nice Panthers win.
I enjoyed it. Spent most of the first half of the game making dinner and everything, and then I was able to go ahead and enjoy the game and enjoy that great third period comeback. And of course, I was able to just sit back and enjoy the Sam Bennett, uh, all the Sam Bennett things that happened.
All the Sam Bennett. Yeah, I mean, who would have thought the main story in the world of on Mother's Day, at least in the NHL world, was Sam Bennett. Just what a guy, what a player. Was so awesome. First off, to have him back. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot to cover in this episode here. Hopefully, we could get to everything. I hope we don't forget anything. But I guess why not? We'll just start there. Yeah, I mean, from Panthers' perspective, I mean, there's no guy in the world that I'd rather have on my team than Sam Bennett. I hope they can lock this guy up for many years to come because and he's just an absolute menace on the ice. Like just so much of what he does is everything you need in the playoffs. And like, yeah, I mean, totally fair if you're a neutral fan or a Boston fan to just be like, this guy's a piece of work here, dirty, all those things. Yeah, totally fine. You want to call him all that. First of all, he doesn't care. Second of all, this is just me quoting from Paul Bissonnette, but no better way to put it than the Panthers are playing for keeps this year. We're trying to win it all, and this is what it takes. And I love it. I mean, the Marchand hit was unfortunate. And we'll touch on that. I do have some additional thoughts here on it, but yeah, I mean, just so awesome to have Sam Bennett back and completely delivers what was advertised for him in the two games since we didn't get a chance to talk about the third one here. Was so great to have him back.
Yeah, I mean, I think just getting him back in the first place was even more important considering we were able to take game two. So, I mean, we were able to take game two, then go ahead and get Sam Bennett back to add even more momentum onto our side. And heading into game three, I mean, Bennett immediately got off to a hot start. He was already hard hitting just to begin the game. Um, there was a certain hit on Marchand that he did deliver that may have caused a little bit of controversy. But well, like you said before, we'll touch on that later on. But I mean, he was flying all over the ice. I thought he made some really nice plays, and he was very physical to begin the game three, and he was physical throughout all of game three. He never backed down, and despite having probably a broken hand, he didn't look like he missed like any time at all. He looked like he was flying, and he was his normal self like immediately. And he was even more noticeable in Game Four, I would argue, and he had the power play goal, which was again another controversial thing that got Boston Bruins fans a little bit riled up.
Yeah, I mean, look, he was incredible to have back. Like you said, it now I'm basically not convinced that he has a broken hand, but pretty much there. But yeah, I mean, like this guy just shows up in the playoffs. Like you could just feel his passion, his intensity, all that. Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll just get right into it. When I initially saw the Marchand hand, I didn't think too much of it. I thought it was like just kind of like guys colliding into. Once you see the reverse angle. It's a bit more damning, I would say for
it
sure.
tells a it
Um,
tells a whole different story.
it does totally change my tune. 100%. Like the, I would say that like he clearly hits him in the jaw. There's no debating it. Like it was a quote sucker punch, but to me, like I think it was just an unfortunate circumstance of Marchand just having his head where it was. I don't think necessarily Bennett was looking to like sock him in the jaw and knock him out. I think Bennett was trying to deliver a hard hit, and like if you listen to his interview after the game, it's like I'm getting ready to like defend myself, and I think that means like laying a hit back. And I think it just so happened that he hit Martian in the head and knocked him unconscious. Like I don't think he was necessarily trying to do that, but it happened. And like if you're a Boston fan or a neutral, whatever, and you're like Bennett's a dirty whatever, the league should have suspended him. He has a history of this. Fine, so be it. Whatever, call him whatever you want. He's not going to care. He's going to be more motivated and just outwork you the next game. And also credit to him for just being like completely in control of his emotions the entire time. Like Pat Maroon's out there like egging him on after the whistle and stuff, and like I don't know if necessarily he's not fighting completely because of the hand situation. I do think that's probably a large majority of it, but at the same time, I think the the coaching staff, not just the head coach. So I'm like, why are we going to fight? Like, what do the Panthers
there's
have to
no
gain
point in
by
doing this
fighting?
right now.
The Panthers have nothing to gain by than fighting these guys, and like I just love that they're not doing it. It'd be probably a different story if that game like was a one-sided blowout. Like maybe then either team start fighting, but like it was a close game the entire game. Like why are you going to take yourself off the ice for Pat Maroon who plays 5 minutes a game?
Especially when Pat Maroon was chirping us in all of the first period. Like the first period, really, like it's a 0-0. It's like a 1-0 game. There's no point in us ever giving you the light of day. Why should we? We're not going to take one of our better players out of the lineup so we could go ahead and fulfill your destiny of fighting one of us. There's no point in doing it.
Yeah,
so,
no, go ahead.
There was no point in doing it, and I'm so glad the Panthers played. They stuck to their game plan. They didn't give Boston they didn't give them the light of day. They didn't care about what Boston was going to do. Boston said going into Game 4 that they were going to play, and they were going to go after our backs, and they were going to go after us. McAvoy delivered a late hit, or actually, it wasn't even a late hit. It wasn't late. It was an early hit, actually.
Just blatant interference
on Reinhart.
Yeah, it won't be talked about.
Yeah, we're not. I mean, it wasn't a talking point. Surprisingly, it wasn't a talking point, but all the other ones were.
Yeah, no.
Just so happens that the sucker punch to Lundell and the Reinhardt hit that were both out of character and both completely non-necessary from Boston's side. None of them got talked about, but the ones that did get talked about were the ones that Florida delivered, which, whatever, it happens. But Florida starts their game plan, and we won the game, and now we're up 3-1.
And that's all that matters. That's all that matters.
Exactly.
Like they want to do all that stuff. Like there's plenty of evidence. Like even Frederick hitting Erod in the back of the head in Game 2.
That
like
one too.
There's so much stuff that won't get talked about. I mean, look, Boston fans, like they should be happy that this is what's being talked about. Like at least they have an excuse for their team just being completely and utterly pathetic after Game 1. Like this. Like I don't even know what to take away from the Panthers to this, because this is just like what you should be doing to a team of this caliber. Like what were the shots like? I could pull them up here, like if I have a minute, but I think it was something along the lines of like 75 to 35 shots
Boston
from Game
had
2
almost. I don't think Boston even had 20 shots on goaltending last game.
Yeah,
and
they're just generating nothing.
Boston's a great team. Boston's a better team than we've seen. They're a much better team than we've seen. They shouldn't be getting like outplayed by like the way they are. And yeah, I completely understand. Like some of the complaints are pretty fair, but especially after last game, the amount of penalties they took, that game should have been that should have been even bigger blowout for Florida. But the Panthers didn't even play as they played a great 5-on-5 game. I'll give them that. But on the special teams, I didn't even think they were that impressive special teams. Their power play wasn't really great. They couldn't really get anything going against Swayman besides the power play goal and the Barkov goal. But those were like ones we had to work for. We couldn't really get anything going other than that. Besides 5-on-5, which we dominated them, obviously had 40+ shots. But even then, we easily could have blown them out, and we didn't. But I get it. You're blaming the refs because there was quite the power play advantage has been.
I guess 22-11. I was about to touch on that too. Yeah,
it is the series going from Tampa to Boston. The differential, and okay, it looks like Tampa might be getting favored here. It's now Florida's getting favored here. like I completely understand. Like obviously, a lot of the calls, it's been double the amount of calls that Boston's getting double the amount of calls than we are getting. But even then, Boston just isn't showing up really. They haven't since game one, and Swayman's been really good, and they're not giving him anything to go by. So I mean, I feel bad for if I feel bad for anyone anyone in Boston, it's got to be Swayman because he's playing his heart out right now, and the team's not showing up in front of him.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about the power play disparity because like it is big. Like I said, I believe it's 22-11. But these are like they're not like phantom calls. Like the officiating, in no question, has been bad. Like I will not dispute that.
Yeah.
Has it probably benefited the Panthers a bit more? Like maybe, yeah. But it's been like consistently bad across the NHL in every series. Like this is just how it is. Like it's just bad. Like that's the bottom line. But like the Boston's giving stuff for the rest to call. Like the Panthers are just dominating ozone puck time, and they're drawing these offensive zone penalties. And like the Bruins are like just playing into the Panthers' hands with like making it so easy for the rest to call stuff. It's just like blatant interferences and stuff. Like yeah, the Ekblad goaltender interference. I don't know who the player was. Like that was a bad call. Like I get the gripe with that, but like you can't dispute like the three like trips or interferences. Like to go back to the McAvoy hit on Reiner, like I was like, holy crap! Like if they're gonna let that get away, like to start the game, this game is gonna get out of control quickly because the Panthers will answer back. Like there was zero attempt to play the puck, like by McAvoy. Like he was just trying to level whoever it was, and like
Reinhart
I'm
wasn't
glad
even.
Reiner was okay.
He didn't even touch the puck yet. He didn't
No,
even get
it was
to
crazy. It was crazy.
It was completely unnecessary of a hit, and everyone knew the intention of it from everyone. It was at the start of the game. They had taken the previous 2 days to go ahead and trash us for the entire time.
Yeah.
Even though if you're going to be mad at anyone, be mad at Bennett. Don't get mad at someone like Barkov who didn't even do anything, or Reinhardt. What do? They played the game.
Can we talk about maybe one of, I don't know if it's the funniest or most just out of pocket moments in NHL history with Marchand challenging Barkov off the opening face off? Like what? I was laughing. Like if you see Barkov there, it just starts like laughing. Like it's just like
I was like, yeah. I don't know if he's like doing it because I think he was. I don't was Marchand mic'd up for that? Like
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I don't really know what that was, or like if what he's trying to do there, if he's trying to like play it up, or what he's trying to do. But Barkov is like the last person you want to try to like do that with, because like Barkov just kind of sat there. And imagine trying so hard.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna fight you, and then the other person just kind of sits there and laughs.
Yeah, Barkov like will just be like, okay, and skate away. Like that's not like if you're gonna try to do that to one of the top stars, like, and you don't want to do it to like Kachuk or Bennett because like they'll fight you or whatever. Like go after like Reinhardt or Tarasenko or Verhaeghe, like someone who may oblige you. But like Barkov is just gonna be like, what, like, and skate away. Like
the only time Barkov is ever fights, even when Barkov does fight, everyone gets like insane because he never does it. The only time he ever does like is when it's like a really dirty play or whatever, and he sticks up for his teammate. He never fights besides that.
No,
it's like he's
it'd have to be really bad for him to get in there. It's crazy.
I don't know, man. Barkov was a very dirty player according to Paul Maurice. So I mean,
dirty with the moves. I mean, dude, this series for Barkov, like I think we talked about it after game 2, and like he's only gotten better since in the next 2 games. Like he's finally like doing what so many Panthers fans have been pounding the table for so long. I mean, he's just dominating this series. Like, and he doesn't even have to fight too. I mean, full credit to Barkov. I hope he can keep this going, because if he does, and like to be quite frank, like I feel like we haven't even seen the best of some of our other players. Like I feel like Kachuk, Verhaeghe, we still haven't seen their best. Like even Reinhardt, we haven't seen the best from him yet. And like the sky's the limit. I mean, there's only so many games left, but I mean, if the Panthers can get clicking on all cylinders here, like they're gonna be really, really tough to beat.
Yeah, I mean, I actually completely agree. I think Carter Verhaeghe has been a little bit. I mean, I think he's been very noticeable on the ice, but um, on the offensive zone, I feel like his usual shots that are like snipes. I feel like they're all missing the net right now, and I feel like his shot is a little bit off right now. And there are a lot of times during the season where Carter Verhaeghe goes ahead and does go through like some cold streaks where he's unable to, like the shots that he is able to make that are just not going in there. And I feel like he might just be on one of those streaks after he had a very good round one, obviously. So hopefully that is what it is, which I think it is. But I mean, the team has been playing really good even without Verhaeghe playing up to his standards. I think Kachuk probably could be a lot better. And I think Tarasenko has been a little bit rough throughout the playoffs so far, but Tarasenko after the game 3 he had completely made up for it because he was all over the ice in game 3. He was a little bit annoying for game 4 because I feel like he there were a couple times where just looking at the screen where he made some bad plays that I was a little bit frustrated with, but I mean, Tarasenko's been great so far this postseason. Even though, like I said, just like a little couple errors there here and there, but he's been fine. Verhaeghe can play better. Kachuk can play better right now, but all of them are playing below their standards. All of them will get better. I Barkov has been insane. He's finally showing off what he can do in the postseason rather than in the regular season. And then, of course, just he got through how many defenders? Like 3 in the play
That's
yesterday.
crazy.
It was a phenomenal play from him, and he was able to keep it onside too, which I thought
Yeah,
originally too was offside. So that was crazy.
I thought it was very interesting they put Okposo up on that line when Reinhardt was out. Who, by the way, I don't know if you got a chance to see, but Marie said that Reinhardt and Okposo should be fine for game 5. There'll be no question. I was honestly surprised Reinhardt didn't like just get stitched up and come right back in. Whatever. Either way, yeah. Pozo also he's been fantastic. Like when he's been in the fourth line role, I thought he played to his role great, and then when he went up on the first line there for just a few shifts, like you didn't even notice Reinhardt was missing. Really, just defensively you
Yeah,
did like with the
honestly, I didn't
kill,
even
but
notice he was missing. I
really,
I didn't even know until this morning. I was like, wait, Reinhardt didn't play the last 15 minutes. Whoa, what?
yeah,
But
I
yeah,
mean,
no.
dude, that is just a great game.
We said it on the last podcast that we recorded. Opozo has been really impressive, and I think at this point you cannot take him out of the lineup because he has been so good, both defensively, offensively. He's been really impressive. Offensively, surprisingly, he's a veteran forward. He's he's been a glue at that on that fourth and third line. He's been really good. So I mean, I think you have to keep him in the lineup. I understand Paul Maurice does want to put Nick Cousins back in the lineup at some point. But at this point, it's really hard to just go ahead and move on from anyone in that lineup because I feel like all of them have played their A games the last 3 games. So I mean, it's gonna be really hard to take anyone out of the lineup unless Bennett suffers like a re-injury. But I mean, at this point, I doubt that happens, and I doubt you take anyone out of the lineup. Also worth mentioning that the fifth line would probably cause havoc, and I really want to see that at some point.
Maybe we'll get it. Maybe we'll get it. But yeah, I mean, just like I don't think you even can take anyone like out of the lineup. Like Lundell had a big goal yesterday. Like is playing great. Listerine, I think has been totally fine killing penalties. He as the playoffs have gone on now. Like I don't know if maybe it was just the nature of the Tampa series, but I feel like the Panthers are finally getting back to what they had so much success in last year's playoffs. Like just doing these like high flips out of the zone, like being so careful with the puck, so just
Yeah,
calm, relaxed.
those high flips were they were talked about during the broadcast last night on
Yeah,
TNT, and that was the first thing I noticed. I was like, yeah, actually, it's very noticeable.
I love it. Like I was so frustrated they weren't doing it in the first like 2 games. Like it's the best when they just like you can't score if the puck's 50 feet in the air and the other side of the ice. So more high flips, more high flips. But yeah, I mean honestly, like I'm trying to think of if there'd be anyone that I really would like to like not necessarily call out, but say like they should be doing better. The only person would be Bob. but I think the reason Bob is like sort of struggling, and I don't even necessarily think he is struggling, but just I think I'm starting to get it. The nature of goalie he is, it's like he needs volume during the game to settle in. Like when he has to wait for a while, he's not as sharp. And I think also maybe that's just because of the way people um, shoot against him, because I think it's sort of what everyone says is his knock is he can't stop the high shots. So maybe that's just it. And I don't claim to know goaltending, the ins and outs of it, but I feel like he could be doing a lot of better. But I mean, it's hard when the other team's only shooting it 3 times, 5-on-5 in the first period. Like you're getting 8 shots through 2 periods. I mean, it's hard to expect him to be ready to go here, but I think that would change as it goes on. And honestly, it kind of makes me think back to 21 when he did have his struggles, and that was when the Panthers were more offensively driven. And I don't know what the shot situation was in those games, but I think that we had more puck possession, we're shooting more, and there was less coming back against us because we just dominated the time offensively, and then that's maybe why Bob was struggling. I honestly I could just be talking complete air there, but that's just my thoughts. That'd be the only person that I would say like I think he needs to step his game up, but I think that will come with facing the opponent, whoever you face in the next round. Not quite over yet, I think um, in New York, Carolina. I want to say a prediction Carolina gets the game tonight, but then I wouldn't think they can win game 6, but I do like them to extend it one more game.
Yeah, I actually I completely agree with you. I think Bob has I mentioned it probably last week or 2 weeks ago now. I forget how many games it's been since game 4 against Tampa when he had that really rough game in Tampa. He had a great game 5. Game 1 he again was I feel like he was actually really rough in game 5. I mean in game 1 against Boston. Of course the defense didn't help him at all, but I thought Bob was rough against Boston game 1. Game 2, I thought he was good. And then games 3 and 4, I felt like he hasn't been playing up to his standard. But the second and third period yesterday, when Boston did get a lot of high danger chances, Bob shut him down immediately. So, I mean, I can't really say that Bob has been too poor, but I mean, I would agree that Bob hasn't been playing his best at all. Despite making the incredible saves like the bobbery against Tampa and everything, it's been mentioned multiple times by a few people that he hasn't been seeing the puck very well. And I think that Carlo one that we saw from yesterday that never should have gone in the first place, like a little lazy shot, never should have sniffed the back of the net, and it does get past them. That's one of those things where, yeah, that's inexcusable. That's probably one of those issues where he just isn't seeing the puck very well right now. But I mean, he shut down Boston the rest of the game after that play. So I, we'll see how far these struggles are. But I don't really want to be too concerned with it when the team's rolling right like they are right now. But if we do get past this round, we have to face someone like New York. Then we really have to hope Bob does step his game up.
Yeah, so here's how dramatic of a fan I am. When Bob let that go and I wanted him pulled, I was like, we got to pull him. Like, I was thinking, like, they're just going to keep shooting and they're going to somehow win this game because Bob just lays an egg and then it's going to be 2-2. And we're going to have to do the whole song and dance like, oh, is Boston making this a series? Blah, blah, blah. But then as soon as that Lundell goal happened, I was like, it's just a matter of time until we complete this comeback. And I, as well, think that if the Bennett goal, which probably should have been called back, I don't think that we weren't winning that game either way. Like it felt inevitable that we were going to win the game. Um, yeah, I don't get the gripe if you're Boston. Look at your own team. I mean, this team has been completely dominated now for 3 games. I wish I was firmer on my prediction when I said sweep at or 5, and then I backed down a bit after. Which I held strong, had the confidence to stay strong on the 5. But yeah, what do you think?
Oh yeah, actually, I tried looking up to see if I could find the tweet where it explained the decision on the Bennett goal. that I do want to go over that because it's been very controversial from the Boston community in Florida. It's been very controversial. I completely understand why Boston's upset. And the only really thing I have to say about it was they concluded that they could not overturn it because Toronto decided that there was not enough of a shove for it to count as interference or that it impeded the play of Swayman. Was Swayman? I don't think Swayman was making the save at all. I don't think he had
That's
a
a
chance
big
of making
point.
a save. B, he absolutely does have a case. So does Coyle because Coyle was shoved. There was a push from Bennett. That's for sure. You can't deny it. And I think even Bennett said it in the interview. Like, yeah, I did shove him a little bit.
Yeah, he was
Um,
like, I pushed him, but not very hard.
and yeah, and which is true. And he didn't necessarily full on. I mean, I don't think there really should have been a penalty on the play, anyways. And yeah, he was laying on top of his goaltender, but I think no matter what, Swayman's on the complete opposite side of the net. It's gonna be very hard for him to even get over there in time to go ahead and make a save. So I completely understand why they're upset with it. But to me, considering how I don't know how to explain it, but goaltender interference has been an issue for years, and it's going to continue being an issue until it's fully defined. So it's one of those plays again where goaltender interference is not defined, and it's really hard to issue like a clear definition on whether that should have been a goal or not a goal. So I do believe we kind of got away with one because I completely understand it, but at the same time, I think common sense here is Swayman cannot get over there in time anyways. He's not making the save. The goal was going to happen no matter what. Therefore, I think it should have been a goal anyways. So I think that's where I stand on it.
Yeah, common sense is hard to find around these parts, but yeah, I totally agree with you. Like, I don't think he was making it over there. I think that's kind of what they, in reality, were looking at. Like, they're gonna put out the statement, whatever. But I think when they looked at it in real time, they're just like, he wasn't getting to this. Like, this is a good goal. Um, but yeah, I mean, totally fair for Boston. But I mean, just how awesome of a moment was that as a Panthers fan, and for Sam Bennett, just the guy, like, public enemy number one. They booing him anytime he touches a puck to get the game time goal, especially mudded in controversy. That was so awesome. Now, what, 5 playoff wins in a row, I believe it is, at the Garden for the Panthers. Hopefully, we could
Yeah, wow, that's
continue to play
crazy.
him in the future.
That's I didn't actually didn't realize until it just thought about it until wow, yeah, that's 5 straight because game 5, 7, and now or yeah, no, it was
Because we won game
two,
two also. Two,
yeah,
5,
two,
7.
2, 5, 7, and then 3 and 4. Wow, yeah, that's insane. I unfortunately only if the Miami Heat could have done if the Miami Heat had Jimmy Butler or whatever, and we could have taken a couple games in the Garden too. Only if then we could have like 10-0 Miami teams
Oh,
or the South Florida
that would
teams.
have been something.
That would have been hilarious. But no matter what, I mean, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, looking forward to game 5 here. I think it's done. I mean, you look at the comments coming out of the Bruins camp, like, even after game 3, it's like they just, going into game 3, even, like, they're so focused on retaliating, and, like, I really do not get it. Like, this is not like a Panthers team that's gonna, like, be scared of retaliation or play into the game. Like, this is like a veteran team. Like, this isn't some team that hasn't, you know, been through this before. I just do not get it. Um, and in game 5, like, Montgomery looks like he's out of answers. Um, I did see that Marchand skated. The bottom line, like, whether Bennett, took him out on that play. There was another one where it looked like he hit Stenlin and his head made some contact. Also, could have been that play. He has a concussion. Like, that's not up for debate. Whatever you want to say, if Bennett did it, Bennett didn't do it. Dirty, not dirty, whatever. Marchand got a concussion. I think that's undeniable. And the fact that there's a potential where team doctors could clear him on a quick turnaround in this, in today's day and age where concussion are under a magnifying scope, would be blatantly shocking and completely skirting the rules, in my opinion.
I mean, I
I'd be
also thought it
shocked.
was very. I thought I mean I was also shocked when they had Sergachev line up for Tampa. After, I mean, I thought that was like complete inexcusable from Tampa's end because I mean, if you get a re-injury from Sergachev, that's career threatening. Just as much as the normal injury was to begin with in the first place, that's a very serious thing to do, and you go ahead and send him out there, which feels like it felt like just like, throw him out to the wolves almost. It felt like that was inexcusable from Tampa, and I feel like I don't know if Marchand does get cleared to play or not. Obviously, with him in the line, Boston's a whole different team. I think they are a better team. Even though I do believe they played a better game yesterday than they did with Marchand in the lineup for Game 3. But there's no denying Marchand does add a lot to the Boston lineup. He adds depth. But if you can go ahead and if he's not cleared, then you have to roll out the same lines. I thought, obviously I am a little bit scared because they're going to play a little bit hungry compared to with what happened in Game 4. Um, they're going to play physical. They're going to. They're going to play more. They're going to keep on. I think as the series progresses, you want to end it as soon as possible because Boston's going to keep on being physical. They're going to be even more physical. They're a bigger team than us too, I think. So you want to just end the series as fast as possible because you don't want to get injured. You just don't want to risk anything. Um, and yeah, I am a little bit worried. I am a little bit concerned heading back home how Boston will respond. But just I think my nerves and everything. If we can just get out to a quick jump, we'll be fine. And that's what I'm concerned with. And hopefully my I'm put to it. Everything is put to rest. Come Game 5.
Yeah, hopefully the Panthers learn from Game 4 against Tampa this year. I mean, they've been pretty decent at closing out teams, but I mean, like you said, like I do think you got to finish the job just because of the nature of how these games have been. You don't want to have to play another. Other than that, I mean, like if they win Game 5, like one home win away, which they haven't won in 5 games, you don't think they're going to be fired up to go away from making this thing 7. So yeah, I do think you got to finish this. And not that whatever happens in the Rangers Carolina game today would give you more motivation to do it, but if the Rangers do close out, like it's just another reason to be more aggressive in the closeout. But um, like everyone has said, it's very cliche, but it is the truth. The Panthers have to find a way to match the desperation the Bruins are going to have because the Bruins are the one with the season on the line tomorrow. So the Panthers have to find a way to just match the desperation and just be ready to go out, find a way to win a hockey game, and then move on to the next round, survive in advance.
You also cannot give Boston a situation where they can rewrite the script from last year. You cannot give them a situation where they can go ahead and have their own Matthew Tkachuk moment where they say, "Oh, remember this, boys. We're going to come back for Game 7." It's inexcusable if you go ahead and have the same situation happen and it goes against your way. We can't have that happen. We just need to we just find a way because I mean I think every team can agree winning that last game is always the hardest to win because that team is going to be playing double as hard as they've been playing all the season. And when you know your season's on the line, Boston's going to come out. They're going to come out firing on all cylinders. It's going to happen. We're going to see probably Boston's best game of the series so far. So in retaliation, Florida has to play their best. So I mean, we're healthy now. Hopefully Bennett continues being a menace. I hate to say it, but it brings joy to the Panthers. It brings joy to Panther fans. So just find a way to win. The rust obviously debate cannot be used really much anymore because I think New York probably finds a way to finish it either tomorrow or in Game 6. So if you do go ahead and face New York, rust isn't going to matter because both teams are probably going to have rest. So find a way, get the rest that you need, get healthy, and go ahead and just win tonight or win tomorrow.
Hey,
I'm a little ahead of myself.
win every day, win every day.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. Like, just that to me is the biggest key. Like the Panthers being healthy and like all these guys could use another. Like this was a physical series. Like whatever you want to say. Like these guys are bruised, banged up. Everyone is this time of year, so a few days would not hurt. Yeah, I mean, everything is right there to play in front of you. Just win this game. You keep doing what you've done in the past 3 games, you'll be fine. Um, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good going on with the Panthers right now, but I mean, as we have seen in these series, they're emotional roller coasters, and everything can turn on its head in one game. So just play your best game and continue moving on. Trying to think if there's any other. Oh, one thing I did want to say is, yeah, place is going to be when Bennett. I'm assume he's going to be starting because that'd be criminal if he isn't. Place is going to lose its mind when he gets introduced. I'm pumped up for that moment, for him and for the fans. I mean, I want this guy signed here forever. Um, not only because I don't want to play
He at
against
this
him.
point, him and Kachuk deserve to be Panthers for life just because of what they've contributed.
It's so awesome. Like he just always shows up in the playoffs. Like it's all you could ask for. Like
Sam Bennett has
both of them.
fully also he has completely destroyed the Huberto Merchant rumors, fraudulent rumors. So I mean, he at first he looked like he did feed off of Huberto, and now it's actually like, oh wow, Bennett can just probably play his own line,
Yeah,
which
honestly.
is it's incredible to see.
Yeah, he's the best. He's the best. And then also like just the interview he gave after the game, I thought was like masterful in like
Yeah.
saying a lot but saying nothing and knowing how to like piss off. Like he knows that everyone's watching that interview. I mean, he's the best. He's the best. Yeah, I mean, close it out. Close it out. It's gonna be tough to do, but find a way. And then I'm excited to most likely be previewing New York if we do close it out here. I think that's a super intriguing matchup from both ends. And to be quite honest, like I think the matchup kind of favors New York. I haven't dove deeply into it, but just my initial thoughts of kind of watching these games, I think it would benefit New York. But like New York would have the advantage matchup wise, just how I'm picturing it. But um, man, that would be a hell of a conference finals. And honestly, as a South Florida sports fan first and Panthers fan, the thought of going through Tampa, Boston, and New York on your way to a final is incredible. Like pretty much the 3 teams that if you ask me who I'd want to go through, that would be the 3 teams. That'd be the 3 teams. So yeah, I mean, I'm loving everything the Panthers are doing right now, and can't state how excited I am. You got any closing thoughts here?
Yeah, it's just the same as I've been saying the last 5 minutes. Just come out firing on all cylinders. Just match Boston's energy, match their passion, and play the same game five. Play the same game five that you played against Tampa, because you're winning that game 99 times out of 100, and those 99 times are happening right now. So match that passion, match that energy, and play the same game five they played against Tampa, that you were able to just go ahead and shut them down at home ice and go ahead and move on. And hopefully tomorrow night we're watching some Paul Maurice interviews where he's taking jabs at Boston.
I got 2 final things that are like sort of they're on topic but off topic. One, I want a prediction of who's going to score either a big goal tomorrow or a series winning goal. I'm going to go with Bennett. Let's get Sam Bennett a series winning goal. And then the other thing I just kind of wanted your quick thoughts on is the emergence, I will say, of Evan Rodriguez in this series, who's just having a hell of a series, and great to see him contributing and kind of, I don't want to say punching bag, but a lot of Panthers fans were not happy with his regular season. And I think he's just been fantastic these playoffs, and nice to see him look like a good pickup.
Yeah, I mean, so first off, to go ahead and answer your first question, who I think will score like a series-winning goal tomorrow, or will score, I'm gonna go ahead and say it's gonna be Tarasenko. I think it's gonna be Mr. Vladdy Daddy who'll finish the job tonight or tomorrow night. Again, I did it again. But tomorrow, but yeah, talking about Evan Rodriguez, people were he was a little bit of a punch bag, quite literally and figuratively, because he quite literally was a punching bag in Game 2 against Boston. Um, but seriously, he's really stepped it up in the playoffs. A lot of fans were upset with him just because I feel like even though he in retrospect he wasn't replacing Duclair, but a lot of people can want to say he was just because he was signed the day after they traded Duclair, and he was technically using the cap space that they didn't have until they traded Duclair. So completely understand that part. He wasn't replacing him because they played two different styles of play, and Duclair's a fan favorite, so it's gonna be very hard to necessarily fill his shoes with the Florida faithful. But I mean, he's really done a great job of going ahead and just playing a great game in the playoffs so far. He's really stepped it up. I thought he had a great game yesterday. He almost had a goal against Swayman in that third period where he just made a really nice play to get in front of the net and break all the defenders loose. And he's been really noticeable, as I said before. And the goals, they come slow. They haven't been scoring. A lot of them haven't been. He's been having great opportunities during the regular season and the playoffs that haven't been going in. But if you just play like that, eventually those are going to go in. But those are great plays and phenomenal plays that he's setting himself up for, setting others up, and he's done a really nice job. And I'm so happy to say Evan Rodriguez is a Florida Panther because he's been incredible, I thought.
Yeah, I like the signing when it happened. It was backing it all the time and taking it from my friends. But I was just saying that like he's fine. I mean, what he's getting paid, he's doing a job, and the puck's finding him right now. Like he's doing such a good job of just creating high danger chances. And that's all you can ask for. Like, and eventually, like you said, it'll start going in. And yeah, I mean, with him being on the third line and that's happening is incredible. So yeah, I mean, just it's honestly it's the best time to be a Panthers fan, probably ever. I mean, I wasn't alive in '96, but I mean, I can't imagine. Like the team was different then, but I mean, there was just everything from Bill Zito to Matthew Caldwell, like the ownership, Viola, Maurice, all the way down to the players, like just on all levels. Like it just seems like everything is going so well for this organization and franchise, which was in complete utter mud for so long. So it's awesome to see. Happy to be a fan right now, and it's worth it. And hopefully, you know, 9 more games. We got 9 more games to go. Everyone, 9 more wins. So let's yeah, do it up. We could talk about that real quick. I'm already on the Panthers from previously, but it's never
I
too
did
late to
not
get in on
notice
the
that.
Panthers.
I did not know that.
By the way, I think Vancouver being 11-1 is outrageous. I they're up 2-1 in the series. I think they look good. Um, but yeah, I mean, hey, there's never a time it's not too late to still take the Panthers here. So shout out to Hard Rock. Not endorsing a bet at this current number. But hey, if you're late to the party and want some fun, please gamble responsibly. Be safe, be smart. But yeah, why not? Why not take the Panthers? If you listen to this, I don't think there's any reason we've said to not take the Panthers. I don't know what can really hold them back here. But yeah, got anything
Yeah,
else?
I didn't even notice that they were plus 260. Now they're favorites to win the cup. Wow,
Crazy.
I didn't even notice that. I mean, I completely understand it, but I mean, I do believe it's a little bit skewed because of the fact that New York is coming off of a loss, and we were probably like a top three favorite. So I don't remember when it was, but I remember we dropped to dead last at one point after we lost Game 1 to Boston, or maybe it
I
wasn't
think
dead last, but we dropped near it.
Carolina was like a big. They were like co-favorites with us, so that's probably why. Because now they're like
Yeah,
they're a super long shot, being so down in the series. Yeah, I mean, dude, New York. If either it's New York or Carolina, it's going to be an incredibly challenging series. If we make it there, we still got to
I would
close this out.
personally say that I hate to say it, but I would personally say New York is the favorite right now to win it all, just because they've won a grand total of one game. I mean, I've lost. Well, wow, one game and always the fun. They've lost one game, and I mean that's so hard to do. They almost swept back-to-back series going and then bringing their way to the Eastern Conference Final. So, I mean, the only way where they can possibly, I feel like in my mind, lose their favorites to me, their favorite title to me, is if they blew the 3-0 lead and have to force a Game 7 against Carolina, which then at that point, then I would completely change my mind. But I mean, right now, I would definitely probably say I think I think New York is a little bit more of the favorites, but you can't go wrong with either one of the three teams at the top. I've said from the start, from a while ago, that the three most depth teams in the playoffs right now are Carolina, New York, and Florida, and all three teams have showed it so far.
Yeah, that's why I like Carolina to win today, anyways. But I think Panthers need them to win. Get a bit of doubt creeping in their mind that they're not the best team ever, or maybe it'd be good for them to think that, and then we humble them up. But I mean, I saw after they won, they went up 3-0, and it's like, oh, it's 94 all over again. Like they're playing good, and they are dangerous, and they have confidence, and they got so much skill on that team. And either way, no matter who comes out of that series, the Panthers will be on the road first, which is a new challenge they have not had yet. But that's a topic for a different day. We're still focused on Boston. We're closing that out tomorrow.
Boston. Just beat Boston.
Let's do it.
One thing.
But yeah, that's it. That's all. That's the one goal right now. One shift at a time, one game at a time. And from us here at Panther vs. World, we'll be covering it the whole time. So please like, share, subscribe, continue to support us. We greatly appreciate everyone for tuning in here. And go Cats, go.
Double back, got my cool.